going to be able to do that I haven't tried in a really long time.
Oh, you're going to kip up?
Yeah, I'm going to do
I'll get
Can
up.
you kip up?
No, I don't think I can.
Okay,
I haven't tried it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't
pretty
kick
close.
up. In fact, I think I cricked the thing in my neck.
That's a pretty close kip, though.
So I'm going to do the rest of the video like this.
Cricked up.
God, my neck is so long. If you're watching, try it at home. Pause the video.
Send in your kip up attempts. I want to see them. I want a good laugh.
Yeah, if you can do a kip up, send it in and I'll cash app you $1.
Hello, all you wrestling fans. That was a tiny high. Tiniest high of all. Can we see that again?
Yeah.
Whoa! That was the world's tiniest high. Bet you can't beat it. But hello, all you wrestling fans and all you Six Wins fans. Welcome back to us reviewing our best WWE Superstar bracket. We're in the Sweet 16. Woo. We've got 2 matchups we're going to review and reveal the winners in this video. I'm going to tell you those 2 matchups. The first one is our number 1 seed, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, heavy favorite to go deep, versus number 5, the Hitman, Bret Hart. So that's one of our matchups we're going to look at. Our other matchup we're going to look at, I have a little bit of a stake in this one because this is one of my favorite guys. Our number 3 seed, Chris Jericho, versus number 2, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. We didn't even woo this time. We outsmarted you. Thought we were gonna get through this whole video without a woo. Maybe.
It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be very hard. So again, all of these matchups are posted on our social media accounts. They're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter. But if you want to vote and participate, like, that's where you can go to vote and pick who our best WWE superstar is going to be. All right. Well, before we talk about these matchups, though, one of these wrestlers is also a mega movie star. And I'm, of course, talking about Bret Hart, whose facial expressions are off the chart. No, I'm talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And we grew up loving The Rock and wrestling. We were kind of at that age when he was, like, moving out of wrestling into movies, and I think we weren't sure. Like, I remember seeing him in movies and being like, why is he doing this, man? I'm not sure you're ever gonna make it here. You were so big in wrestling. But he did! He made it! And he's a massive superstar. And so, I want you, Chris, to give us your 3 favorite Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies.
Ooh.
And you can give a couple honorable mentions if you need to. I know you've seen a lot of his movies.
Yeah, so my dad and I have this thing where every time Rock puts out a movie, we go see it in theaters. We've been doing it, like, we took a little break during COVID, but we always try, every time Rock puts out a movie. The most recent one was Black Adam. We saw San Andreas together, Rampage. We went on a good, run. And so every time Rock puts out a movie, we go see it. So I'd like to think I'm fairly well versed in Rock movies.
I would imagine, yeah.
My first choice, probably not very popular, but it's a movie that, you know how we all have those movies that, like, if you're just browsing the channels, you'll stop on it? It's a Rock movie, San Andreas. It's kind of cheesy, but for whatever reason, those disaster movies get me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch A Day After Tomorrow anytime it's on, even though, like, I know it sucks. But San Andreas, I think, is a better film, but it's good. So I'm going to put San Andreas up there.
All right, that's in the top 3?
That's in the top 3.
Okay.
Second choice is a little personal to me. My son, when he was, like, in his first year of life, maybe 2 years, he loved Moana. And it just, like, the beginning, like, there's a lot of songs in it. It's like a Disney movie.
Yeah.
But anytime I hear, like, some of the songs from Moana, it kind of gets me right in the feels. So, like, bias, and I think it won some awards, but
oh yeah,
whatever. So Moana. So my third, let me do 2 honorable mentions before I get to my third.
Before we reveal the number 1.
Jumanji. I loved Jumanji. I was very skeptical when they're like, we're remaking Jumanji, because I love Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I don't.
And they go into a video game this time, and you're like, kids still play board games.
Yeah,
we don't have to update. Be like, it's a video game now.
Right. But I thought it was hilarious. As good as Rock and Kevin Hart were, like, Jack Black, I think, stole the show. Like, there's a video out there, and if we can remember to link it, they're doing promo for Jumanji, and they had Rock, Jack Black, Kevin Hart in the interview, all playing one another.
Oh, I think it
gets to Jack Black, and he does the interview as The Rock.
I wake up at 5 a.m. and do 27,000 rip curls, bleed, blood, sweat, tears. That's the approach that I take to life.
It's perfect. So that's honorable mention number 1. Honorable mention number 2 is The Rundown.
Oh,
love it. It's like action comedy, Sean William Scott, and it's just a fun movie. Christopher Walken plays the bad guy, and Rock refuses to use guns, and whatever. But I'm gonna go number 3. It's not one of his more popular movies, and I don't know why. Gridiron Gang.
okay. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's awesome. He goes. It's like this. It's not specifically like a jail, or is it? It's like a detention youth center. All these troubled teens who are like affiliated with gangs and stuff. And Rock goes in there and starts a football team with them. And it teaches them a lot.
It was a football movie.
Yeah, it's almost similar like a Coach Carter. Love Coach Carter. But yeah, it's like a really good, feel-good tale. And a lot of drama. So those would be my 3.
Nice. And with 2 honorable mentions. I'm gonna give my 3 really quick.
Yeah, please.
They're all really bad, actually. I haven't seen a lot of the more recent Rock movies, but this one probably shouldn't count because he's like very cameoed at the end, and it's maybe considered some of the world's worst CGI. But when he is the Scorpion King at the end of The Mummy Returns, and he's like half scorpion, half computerized version of himself. I think The Mummy Returns is an awesome movie. Is it a Rock movie? No, but I make the rules, and I'm picking it as my number 3. Yeah. Number 2. I should put this as number 1 because now my number 1's gonna even derail it more. My number 2, I'm gonna pick Scorpion King. I saw that movie twice in theaters.
Wow.
It came out at a time when like that was like the cool thing, so like me and my friends wanted to see. Mm-hmm. It had like the Godsmack song, I stand alone, and he like takes an arrow that has been shot out of his back to finally kill like Agamemnon, and like dude that like used to catch arrows for like practice. And he's like, I'm gonna just shoot this so fast, and it kills him. It was sweet. Damn. Spoilers for the ending. My number 1 is what really sold me on The Rock being like a guy that I just liked, even outside of wrestling, was when he hosted Saturday Night Live for the very first time. And specifically, when he did the Tracy Morgan sketch, Brian Fellows' Safari Planet.
I'm Brian Fellow. We don't talk about the birds and the bees on this show, unless our guests are birds or bees. And sometimes not even then.
And The Rock plays like the straight man. He's like... Okay. Tracy Morgan is being weird Tracy Morgan, but I loved it. I had that sketch memorized. I would quote it in school, so that's my favorite Rock thing.
Yeah.
That was my top 3.
So the first appearance, is that the one where he did the Chris Kattan sketch? The ba, or was that second?
That was probably first, actually, as well. Yeah, when Chris Kattan was, I don't remember that character, but he was like the monkey guy.
Yeah.
He's like a half man, half Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Right?
What was that character's name?
We'll have it in text somewhere.
Yeah. I read somewhere that listening to a podcast or a review show where the 2 hosts don't know the answer to something is the closest you'll feel to being a ghost.
Huh? Oh, sweet. Oh, because like you're trying to say the answer, and then you get all blurry because but you're trying to say the answer to him and nobody can hear you.
Right,
that makes sense.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
All right, well, we got to talk about these matchups, though. We got to see who won.
We're 9 minutes in.
Let's start with The Rock and Bret Hart. I'll kick us off with my thoughts. I know Bret Hart has a lot of respect on his name, and I do think I probably underappreciate him or undervalue him. I'm still going to take The Rock. He's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. And whether or not he's as technically sound in the ring as Bret Hart, his matches are every bit as entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I'm noticing a theme with some of these matchups where it's like technician, like really, really good in the ring, versus kind of like the big box office draw. May or may not have crossed over into like mainstream popularity. Sure, Bret Hart is fairly well known outside of wrestling because he did it so long. He's an iconic character, but come on, it's The Rock.
Yeah,
I know, it's The Rock. And there's very, very few people you could put up against The Rock that I'm going to choose. And I'll tell you what, Bret Hart's not one of them. Bret Hart does have one of my favorite matches of all time with WrestleMania 13 against Austin.
Yeah.
The epic double turn, Ken Shamrock as the referee. But I think Rock is a little underrated in the ring too. Go on Rock all day.
Right on. All right, so we had this one go up to a vote. We thought this might be the best matchup possible for The Rock in the Sweet 16. Like a closer matchup than Bruno Sammartino, who Bret Hart beat. And so we asked everyone who should be moving on. Who's the better WWE superstar? The winner. Going to the Elite Eight. The People's Champ himself, The Rock. Moving on. He's halfway home to winning our best WWE superstar. But he's going to have to go up against the winner of this other Sweet 16 matchup in his region. Ric Flair, Chris Jericho. You want to start us off on this one?
I'm going Jericho, and here's why. Jericho has reinvented himself so many times, and he, from his debut in WWF, like we're trying to focus only on WWF, WWE, I didn't really watch a whole lot of WCW, but just from the moment he debuted with The Rock, funny enough, he's just so good at everything. Like, he's up there with what I would say like an Angle. Like, can go with anybody in the ring. Super good technically, like, in my opinion, up there, or not, if not exceeds Bret Hart, but just mic work, character work, he's on a different planet. Now, Ric Flair has been one of the few to like what's the word I'm looking for? To like break out of wrestling. Like, he's just kind of this pop culture icon, and he's great, and he's, you know, had thousands of retirement matches. But
one for every year he's been alive.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going Jericho. I think that's enough for me. What about you?
I would go Jericho too. I actually didn't recognize this about this matchup now, but both guys maybe not a better point for Jericho, but had a substantial chunk of their career not in WWE, WWF, which usually we only have one guy and it's a little hard, and that's usually how we give the nod to another guy over the other.
Right.
But Flair, obviously, in NWA, and probably his most successful time champion-wise during within that promotion. And Jericho in WCW, I do think Jericho had his peak years in WWE, WWF, because I don't think he was ever the main champion in WCW. He was usually in the Cruiserweight title, TV title, if you remember that one, the TV title picture. But yeah, I would go Jericho. I think he's the complete package for a wrestler. Entertaining, amazing in the ring, great heel, great face, can wrestle with anybody. I'm Jericho all day. So we wanted to see, though, did everybody else think Jericho is the better WWE superstar of all time, or is Ric Flair? And this one was really, really close. The winner, moving on to face The Rock. Not gonna do it. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Almost wooed. You almost thought you had me, but I held off. So
I heard it in my hat. I was like,
that's the second closest thing to being a ghost. When somebody's gonna woo and they don't do it, and you go, I heard it. So we're gonna have The Rock versus Ric Flair in the Elite Eight, and keep voting. Stick around for more results. Woo! Oh no!
He did it!